When Munchkin was spotted in Cape Cod, Massachusetts, they thought she was just a rock. But when they got closer, they saw what she really was, a huge loggerhead sea turtle who really needed help. Munchkin was in trouble. Her temperature was low, 2 of her flippers were hurt, and she didn't weigh enough. She needed someone who would help her feel like herself again. She needed a rescuer. And what she got was a whole team of rescuers from the New England Aquarium. Their plan was to take her in, get her healthy, and release her back home to the ocean. But first, they had to give her a name. What do you call a 300-pound turtle? They picked Munchkin. Once Munchkin's temperature got up to a healthy level, they put her in a tank where she could swim around, get exercise, feel safe, and grow stronger. Every day, they gave Munchkin her favorite turtle food and medicine. They cleaned her shell and made sure the turtle knew how much they loved her. They hoped that one day she'd be ready to go back out into the sea, where sea turtles belong, where Munchkin wanted to be. Then, something amazing happened. After 8 months of living with her rescuers, Munchkin was feeling healthy again. Her skin and shell were the right turtley color, and she had so much energy to swim and play in the water. It was time to go home. The rescue team decided to release her close to where she was found 8 months ago. But they wanted to be sure they could keep an eye on Munchkin even after she left them. So they put a small tracker on the back of her shell, which would let them watch how far and how fast she swam and where her turtle journeys would take her. It was the day of her release. The rescuers gently put Munchkin into a truck and drove her to the beach. Munchkin was maybe a little nervous. But once she got there, a crowd was waiting for her. Everyone wanted to see Munchkin head home. Munchkin was finally ready. The rescuers lowered her into the sand and watched. It was almost like Munchkin had stopped to say goodbye and thank all the rescuers for helping her. Then she crawled right into the waves and swam on. The rescuers miss Munchkin, but they have a lot to be happy about. By helping Munchkin and other sea turtles feel better, and then by bringing them back to the ocean, the rescuers are helping sea turtles everywhere.
It's a wild horse. Goliath is a wild stallion. He was huge. That's why they call him Goliath, because Goliath means really big. He used to live in a wild part of Wyoming with a lot of other horses. He liked the other horses a lot, but his favorite was Red Lady. She was his favorite horse in the whole world. Goliath and Red Lady were a family, and they were really happy. But the horse herd shared their land with people that lived nearby. and some of the people thought the horse herd was too big and too close. So they used helicopters to move Goliath, Red Lady, and the rest of the herd away. They put the horses in some pens that weren't very good for the horses. The horses missed their old home. But Goliath was really upset because when the horses got moved, he and Red Lady got separated. They had to live in separate pens and couldn't see each other anymore. He missed his favorite horse. Luckily, an animal rescuer named Claire heard about the horses. Claire wanted to help Goliath. Turn some horse frowns upside down. So she came up with a plan. She convinced the people to let her adopt Goliath and take him home back to her big ranch. It cost a lot of money to adopt Goliath, but strangers chipped in to help her. Once the adoption was official, Goliath traveled on a trailer all the way to Claire's ranch. He was so excited to be someplace new. It almost felt like home. But something was missing. He doesn't have the horse he loved the most out of any horse in the entire galaxy. Then the best thing happened. Claire got a call from a different animal rescuer who had adopted Red Lady. The rescuers knew that the two horses had to be together. So they brought Red Lady to Claire's ranch. And the horses ran right up to each other. Finally, Goliath felt like he was home. Oh, it's been so long, I missed you so much. Soon, there was even more good news. Baby Bodie was born. He was kind of cute. Thanks to Claire, now Goliath, Red Lady, and Bodie get to spend every day eating, taking walks, playing horse games, and just being together as a family. A lot of fun stuff in that sanctuary for horses to have the life that they deserve. This goose and this man are best friends. Honk, 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 honk. Mike found the goose when she was just a baby. Baby geese are called goslings, I think. She was all alone in the middle of a lake. Mike thought it was probably a good idea to leave her where she was, so her mother could find her. But when he started to drive away, she jumped right onto his boat. It was almost like she was asking for his help. That's when he knew that this little goose was in need of a rescue. Mike decided to take care of the gosling, and he gave her a name, Kyle. Mike kept a close eye on Kyle, but always let her go wherever she wanted. When Kyle was older, she just wanted to be at Mike's side. They spend every minute together, including breakfast.
Kyle, did you eat my waffle? There's crumbs on your mouth. I know you ate it.
Kyle was a bit of a troublemaker.
Is she gonna bite me or anything?
Kyle!
She's sneaking through Mike's pockets, probably looking for more waffles. But Mike didn't mind. He loved being friends with Kyle. Mike thought he'd be watching her forever, which is fun, but also a little sad. Because if he's always taking care of her, that means she's never really going to be a wild goose again. But then something amazing happened. One day, Mike took her out on his boat. And when they drove fast enough, she started to fly. I think everyone would like to be able to fly. Mike and Kyle would practice flying every day. And Kyle got really good at it. Mike knew that Kyle was ready to be a wild goose again. Pretty soon, Kyle was living happily with all the other geese on the lake. And she even had a baby named Jack. They got another baby to look after. That means that Mike is a goose granddad. Goosepa? A goose grand. Uncle Great Goose. He takes care of Jack, just like he took care of Kyle, which was a lot of work. Geese are not easy to take care of. They don't like being left alone and will chase you around. That'd be kind of creepy though. Right after you get out from the shower, you'll be like, ha. But Mike loves little Jack and is so happy to watch him get bigger and stronger. Jack goes everywhere with Mike. To restaurants and even to work. And until Jack can fly, Mike will be right by his side. It's not always easy to be an animal rescuer, but it makes the world a better place. And it's pretty cool too. Remember, if you see an animal in trouble, do not try to rescue them by yourself. Ask an adult family member for help. My mom helps me with the dogs I rescue.
This little one is a wild koala, but he's not where a wild koala should be. Koalas live in eucalyptus trees in the forests of Australia. But wildfires took away this koala's home, and now he has nowhere to go. And he isn't feeling well at all. So when he saw two campers coming closer, he walked right up to them. It must have been scary to come close to people he didn't know. But this was a very brave koala. Right away, the two could see he needed help. Why else would he have come so close? They decided to become his rescuers. The new rescuers wanted to find him some food to eat and eventually bring him to an animal hospital. That meant they'd need to put the koala into their car. They picked him up as gently as they could. He didn't seem to love it, but he was too tired to complain. With the koala in the back seat, they drove out of the burned forest, stopping at the first green tree for a koala snack. He must have been so hungry because he spent the rest of the ride eating. The rescuers knew they had to get the koala to a vet who could help him. But when they arrived at the hospital, it was closed. They weren't sure what to do. So they decided to bring him to their campsite and come back the next day. But would the koala stay with them the whole night? He was a wild koala after all. They brought the koala to a little tree right next to their campsite. They gave him some leaves to eat and made a promise to see him in the morning. When they came back to the tree the next day, the koala had climbed down. He still seemed like he wasn't feeling well, but he was maybe a little hopeful too, because his rescuers were back. And this time, they were going to find a vet no matter what. They placed him back in their car and drove him right to the animal hospital. He seemed like he knew he was finally going to be safe. When they got to the animal hospital, it was open. Everybody was so happy. They said goodbye to their new friend and gave him to the veterinarians. These two campers probably didn't start their day thinking they'd become animal rescuers. But sometimes an animal will walk right up to you and ask you to be their hero. The minute Hope was born, everyone could see she was extra special. She had a hole in her shell right over her heart. Some people were afraid for Hope, but she kinda liked being one in a million. She just needed someone to give her extra help. She needed a rescuer. Mike's obsessed with taking care of water animals. He's a dad to this zebrafish, a rainbow belly pipefish, and so many turtles. So as soon as Mike heard about little Hope, he knew he had to help her. But how do you take care of a turtle with a hole over her heart? Mike remade one of his regular turtle tanks so it was perfect for Hope. He used a special filter for her water, a heater to keep the temperature just right, and put in a log covered in moss so it couldn't hurt her heart. Mike wanted the little turtle to love it. But what would Hope think? When she arrived, he couldn't believe how tiny she was. She was barely bigger than a quarter. Mike was worried. But Hope wasn't worried at all. She might have had a hole over her heart, but she was brave. She swam around, and chased after food, picked a favorite picnic spot, and liked to get her shell polished. Eventually, Mike stopped worrying because Hope was doing great. And then the best thing happened. Hope started getting big. Until one day, she was kinda giant. The hole in her shell had grown with her, but it still didn't stop her from being her turtle self. Now, this 1 in a million turtle is living her best life. A life full of fun, with a rescuer she loves, and a warm and special heart.
This wild horse is stuck in a mud pit. She seems really scared. But brave people found her, and they knew they just had to rescue her. Oh, poor thing. The mud is all the way up to her waist. Its back legs just sank. The people have never rescued a horse before, but there's no one they can call. They're way out in the middle of nowhere. Luckily, these people are prepared for anything because they have ropes and tools with them. Straps and chains and all sorts of stuff. What are some good emergency supplies? A flashlight, maybe some medical supplies, a jetpack, never know when that would come in handy, some food for every animal, and some food for me. I'm an animal. So the rescuers came up with a plan. Take a bunch of the rope, tie it around the back of the horse, and use the car to pull the horse out of the mud. Honestly, I think their plan was really good. There's just one problem. This is a wild horse, and wild horses can get scared around people. So they need to tell her that they're here to help. But how? They decide to give her some hay to snack on. Oh, poor thing. It looks like she's really hungry. Don't worry, little horse. We're gonna get you out of there. But in the meantime, here's an all-you-can-eat hay buffet. The horse is probably thinking, oh, this is good. You got some apples or carrots? But now comes the hard part. With the ropes on tightly and the horse happy, they start to pull. It's not going to be easy. Come on, you can do it. Pull, man! I guess that didn't work, so they're going to have to restrap her. She's probably thinking, am I ever going to get out of here? Look, she's starting to move. It's working. Keep pulling. You can do it. And she's out. Got her out of the mud pit. Awesome. Soon she was up on her hooves. I think she's probably feeling really happy now that she can go off and live the rest of her horse life. Wild horses are usually scared of people, but these people had saved her. And she knew it. She stopped to look at her heroes and give them one last thank you. And off she went. She's gonna be okay, all thanks to those rescuers. They were the right people in the right place with the right tools. But most important of all, they saw someone in trouble and never stopped trying to help. That's what it means to be a hero. Remember, if you see an animal in trouble, do not try to rescue them by yourself. Ask an adult family member for help. My mom helps me with the dogs I rescue. That little raccoon's head is stuck in a can. A guy named Mac is gonna try to get him unstuck. This raccoon over here needs rescuing. Mac was going for a walk when he saw a raccoon with his head in a can.
He got his head stuck.
He's probably feeling really scared. It's probably like, what? Where is everybody? Who turned out the lights? Mac's pretty sure he can just pull the can off. His neighbor came over to see what was going on. Mac's like, no need to worry, I got this. And that raccoon, he's scared. He's just doing little circles. Mac's like, I don't got this.
I'm like, man, I need help.
And lucky for him, help came. Another neighbor showed up. They have to be really careful. When wild animals are scared or nervous, they'll bite or scratch to protect themselves. So they got a yoga mat to put around the raccoon while they tried to pull the can off. But they had to kind of hold him down and then pull it off. But it's really stuck. If they can't figure something out, the raccoon's gonna be stuck in there forever. Then, Mac had an idea.
All right, I just went and got these from my shed. Try to cut off that can.
Since they can't pull it off, they'll have to cut it off.
All right, let's see if we can get this. Where is he?
He ran away to a field nearby. They have to catch him if they're going to help him. After him, Mac!
I thought he was tired.
This has to be a pretty crummy day for that raccoon. He can't see anything.
It's all right, buddy.
They've almost got him. Nope, not yet. Nobody said rescuing raccoons was easy. They finally get close enough. They put the yoga mat around the raccoon again so they don't get scratched while they hold him still. Careful. And it's off. Phew! That's gotta feel so good. Run, little raccoon. You're free.
Thank you, guys.
It's a good thing Mac and his neighbors found that poor baby. They came together and all helped save the raccoon's life. Remember, if you see an animal in trouble, do not try to rescue them by yourself. My mom helps me with the dogs I rescue.
When a wild baby leopard fell into a well, she couldn't climb back up. She was trapped. And she was scared. The rescuers were pretty surprised. Rescuing a lost dog is one thing, but a wild baby leopard? Lucky for the leopard, these rescuers had a plan. They used ropes to lower a cage down and swung it close to the little cub. They hoped she'd climb in so they could lift her to safety. She seemed interested in this strange new boxy thing, but she didn't trust it or the rescuers, and she didn't want to move. They tried using a pole to give her a nudge, which she did not like very much. Still, she didn't move. Then the rescuers had an idea. Maybe if they just swung the cage to a wider part of the ledge and left the door open, the baby would get curious and climb inside. But she'd have to be more curious than scared. Was she? The rescuers waited until finally the little leopard stepped into the cage. What on earth is this thing? And got herself to safety. Even though she was out of the well, her journey wasn't over. Because, well, what do you do with a baby leopard? She had to go home to the wild, which meant the rescuers had to look for her mom. A wild leopard. Not usually a good idea. They searched and searched until they found leopard tracks. Maybe the mom made them? The rescuers weren't sure, so they came up with another plan. They'd bring the baby to the tracks, put her in a safe cage, And if Mom came, they'd open it and reunite the leopard family. They waited far from the cage so the mom wouldn't get nervous, but kept an eye on the baby with a hidden camera. The baby leopard wanted to be let free, but the rescuers knew they had to be patient. The little baby was worried. The rescuers were worried too. And then, those are eyes. A leopard had arrived. Was it Mom? The grown-up leopard seemed curious about what was in the cage and started growling some friendly growls. And the baby growled back. This leopard was definitely the baby's mom. They pulled open the cage, and the baby and mama darted off into the night as a family, thanks to the rescuers and a curious baby leopard.
What is that? Is that a camel? An alpaca? She's a baby lamb. She was all alone, but she doesn't need to worry because these rescuers are here to help. They took her back to the animal sanctuary, put her in the coziest sweater, fed her.
Here we go.
And gave her a name, Ramses.
Come on.
Ramses is a little different from other lambs because she doesn't have ears. She can still hear though. My dog Roo, she can't hear and she has big old ears. Ramses doesn't seem to mind. She's just so happy to be with her new rescuer family. The rescuers loved baby Ramses. She was definitely a feisty little girl. She's real sassy like my dog Zion. But lambs get lonely without other lambs. And there weren't any other lambs at the animal sanctuary. That's because it's a dog rescue, not a lamb rescue. So they decided to rescue another baby lamb named Wooly. Wooly and Ramses became best buds just like that. They looked like they were having a good old time. Playing, eating. That's her way of saying, "Hi, I like you." They were both so happy. The rescuers were too. But they knew the lambs couldn't stay forever. Lambs can't live in a dog shelter. So the rescuers decided to take the lambs to a special sanctuary. It was really hard to say goodbye. I fostered a lot of dogs and it's hard to let them go.
Oh, we're gonna miss you so much.
But the rescuers knew it was where Ramses and Wooly had to be. The lambs traveled on a truck across the country and arrived at their new home the next day.
Babies.
It was the perfect place for them. Lambs need wide open areas. They like to roam. Let's go! There were tons of trails to explore, delicious green grass to eat. They really liked to eat. The rescuers missed them a lot. But they knew that if the lambs were happy, they'd done their job exactly right. Ramses was a lonely lamb when they first found her. But now, she's probably the happiest animal in the world. Remember, if you see an animal in trouble, don't try to rescue them by yourself. Ask an adult family member for help. My mom helps me with the dogs I rescue. That's a wild horse laying there. Her leg is stuck in a fence. The horse can't run or even get up. She looks really uncomfortable. Luckily, these nice people found her. They knew they just had to rescue her. The horse needs a lot of help. They needed to free her from being all tangled up. So they brought heavy-duty wire cutters to cut her loose. The wire was super thick, but it was no match for those cutters. She was free, so the rescuers stood back to watch her go. But the horse collapses right when she takes off. She's been stuck for so long that she lost strength in her leg. I bet that horse feels really scared. The horse needs a lot of help. The rescuers weren't sure what was wrong. They knew they'd have to take a closer look. But this was a wild horse, which means she was probably really scared of them. She didn't know what they were doing, so one of the rescuers decided to get close to her and calm her down. The rescuer was probably just as scared as her. He was very cautious and pet her gently on the neck, which really seemed to calm her down. They gave her some water and tried to figure out what to do next. They knew the horse would be okay if they could get her onto her feet again. But how on earth were they going to do that? The horse was huge.
I'm wondering if... Do we want to try and roll her this way?
They decided they would try to roll her onto her feet using a strap to gently pull her over. That way, the horse could stand up on her 3 strong legs.
We know.
They tried to keep her calm while they tied the strap. The leg that had been tangled still seemed to be hurting. She looks kind of nervous, but everyone was being really brave. All right, okay, looks like the strap is tied. The rescuers backed up and started to pull. So close, but she needs a little more help.
1, 2, 3, pull, quick.
They pulled one more time, and she rolled right onto her feet. She's standing, and now she's walking. She's gonna be okay, and it's all thanks to those brave rescuers. Sometimes you need a big plan and a big heart for a big rescue like that. Remember, if you see an animal in trouble, do not try to rescue them by yourself. Ask an adult family member for help.
When Ivy the deer got lost in a swamp, she didn't know what to do. Wild deer almost never go up to people. But her mom wasn't around to help her. She knew she had to be brave and get herself out of trouble. So she swam right over to some campers to ask for a rescue.
Come this way, buddy.
When she got to the campers, Ivy was soaking wet and really cold. They helped her out of the water and got her dry. But what would they do next? They'd never rescued a baby deer before. Maybe her mom was looking for her. They decided to leave Ivy in a safe place. If her mom was around, she'd find her. But when Ivy's mom didn't come, Ivy walked all the way back to find the campers. She knew they'd helped her before, so she was sure they'd help again. And she was right. The campers took Ivy to a professional animal rescuer who knew how to be a mom to a little baby deer. The rescuers gave her some food. They could tell she'd been hungry for a long time. They made her feel at home. Though Ivy wanted to stay here forever, she'd have to be released back into the wild someday. It was the rescuer's job to make sure she was ready. Ivy became obsessed with a special giraffe toy they'd given her. It was so sweet. But the rescuers thought maybe it was time for her to make some friends. So when the rescuers got a call about another little deer, they introduced Ivy to Buck. Buck was missing his mom too. But would the two little deer get along? Nobody should have worried. Ivy and Buck became best friends, brother and sister. And one day, their family got even bigger. 4 other little deer came to the sanctuary, and Ivy and Buck had a herd. Ivy, Buck, and the rest of the herd helped each other grow up. They taught each other how to live like a wild deer. Soon, it was time. The rescuers opened up the gate to the forest and gave the deer the chance to decide for themselves what to do. Would they stay a little longer, or were they ready to be wild again? After just a moment, they headed right out. Everyone was sad to see Ivy, Buck, and the deer go, but of course, they were happy too. Ivy had gone from lost and alone in a swamp to living her best deer life with her own special herd.
It's a mama raccoon, and she has babies. But she's stuck in a basement wall. They really need to get the mama and her babies out. Luckily, someone called for animal rescuers. Right away, the rescuers knew this would be a pretty tricky rescue. They had to take the babies out of the wall, but the mama wasn't ready to let them do that. She didn't want them anywhere near her babies. Mamas can be like that, a little too overprotective. The rescuers decided to distract the mama by making a lot of noise. Okay, there she goes. It worked for a little bit, but then... Oh, she does not look happy. The rescuers moved fast to get the babies out. They used special raccoon grabber claws to gently reach in and pull them up. So I have a grabber claw here. I grabbed it because the rescuers used a grabber claw. I don't know how well it will grab raccoons, but this thing sure works. This is my dog. I would recommend it for a stuffed animal rescue, not a real animal rescue. Their grabber claw was meant to pick up real animals. This thing here is a toy. Okay, 2 babies are out. One to go.
Oh, there's the mother. She's coming.
Uh-oh. Mama's back. They better hustle up or Mama is not gonna be happy. They grabbed the last baby just in time.
She's coming in to get her baby. We gotta be careful here. She won't hesitate to bite us.
Raccoons mean serious business, especially when they don't know that you're trying to help their babies. Those are some very brave rescuers. They put all the babies in a soft bag and said goodbye to Mom. See you outside. They had a special plan to get her out. The rescuers knew that if they brought the babies outside, the mama would eventually come out on her own. So they placed one in the yard. This raccoon is probably thinking, I wonder where Mom is. But the baby didn't have to wait long. The mama crept from under the house and ran off with baby number 1.
The mother just came out and grabbed her one baby and took it over the fence into that backyard. So we're going to place these babies in our baby box and she can grab them.
The rescuers placed the other 2 babies in a special box so that the mama could find them. Then they sealed up the hole into the basement so the raccoons couldn't get lost in there again. Mama still isn't back.
We're back on the job site the next day to check on the babies in the box and we'll see if Mom took the other 2. The door is open and they're gone, so you can go look in there.
She took her babies. That's a very good mama. She was so protective of her little babies. Animal rescuers are the best. It got a little scary there at one point. But they were brave and worked super hard to get those little raccoons to safety. I'm sure the mama would thank them if she could. Remember, if you see an animal in trouble, do not try to rescue them by yourself. Ask an adult family member for help. My mom helps me with the dogs I rescue.
Dodo Kids. Help the kittens find the subscribe button.